Yeah, good evening all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, and sorry for the delay. So here, yes, in the last class, just I was discussing like what is big data and why Hadoop, right? Drawbacks with the databases and Hadoop and Spark advantages, Hadoop ecosystem components, Hadoop and Spark job market, right? Yes. So Hadoop is providing two services, right? Yes. Hadoop is for two things. First one, storage. Hadoop is for storage and for processing. Hadoop is for storage and secondly for processing. And for storage, it doesn't use any database, right? It is going with a special kind of file system called as HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. And for processing, right? For processing, it is going with an execution model called as MapReduce or Spark. MapReduce previously it was, but now we are going with Spark execution model, right? And Hadoop is meant for, right? Hadoop is for batch processing, right? Hadoop is for batch processing, but not for online processing. But not for online processing, right? Yes. So what do you mean by batch processing, online processing? There are two types of applications. There are two types of applications, I can say. Two types of applications, like first one, online applications, and secondly, batch applications. Online applications, right? User interactive applications, we call them as user interactive applications. User interactive applications, right? Here user gives the input. Here user gives the input. Here user gives the input. Example, making an online transaction. Making online transaction, right? Yes. Making an online transaction, right? Booking a movie ticket. Okay, here user use the input, right? Here user compulsory required for booking a ticket, user compulsory required. Making a note. Batch applications means user non-interactive applications. User non-interactive applications, right? User non, here user is no way required. Here user is no way required, right? Okay, fine. Example of a batch application. Generating credit card statement. Generating credit card statement for millions of customers, right? Millions of customers. Here user interference is nowhere required. Mobile statements for millions of customers. Mobile statement. Okay, batch of Hadoop is for batch application. Most of the financial applications are batch application. Currently, we have got databases, right? For storing data, like databases and specialized databases. Like we have got specialized databases like Teradata, Netezza, Vertica. Yes, sir. Drawbacks with database. Okay, drawbacks with databases, right? No parallel processing, limited storage, right? If volume increases, speed decreasing, right? If we take query to query, here 10 records, 1 lakh records, 1 crore records. I want the total amount from this 10 records or total amount from 1 lakh records, total amount from 1 crore records, right? From record to record, right? Yes. From record to record, yes. As volume increasing, speed decreasing, right? Yes. Query to query as volume increasing, speed decreasing, right? Yes. As complexity increases, speed decreases. Complexity, right? Sum of amount, average amount, standard deviation of amount. Complexity, right? So average amount takes, right, more time as compared with sum of amount. Like average amount is a two-step process, and standard deviation, lot of internal processing is required, right? Okay. Databases, the major drawback is they can handle only structured data. They cannot handle unstructured or semi-structured kind of data, right? Yes. Hadoop advantages, unlimited data storage. Okay, before I go with Hadoop advantages, right, you need to know about Hadoop cluster, something, right? Later, now as of now, I'll be discussing overview of it, but later in brief, I'll be discussing in the Hadoop architecture, right? What do you mean by Hadoop cluster, right? Hadoop cluster. Group of CPUs, group of nodes means CPUs, you can say CPUs. Connected in a network. Group of nodes CPUs connected in a network. Group of nodes CPUs connected in a network. There are two types of nodes. Master node, slave node. Master node, there are two types of nodes, like master node and slave node. Master node responsibilities. So before I go with master node, okay, just observe this. In Hadoop, okay, Hadoop follows master slave architecture, not client server architecture, right? Yes. Hadoop follows master slave architecture. It doesn't follow client server architecture. It doesn't follow client server architecture, right? Yes. Hadoop follows master slave architecture, it doesn't follow client server architecture. Okay, master node responsibility. See here, if you see this diagram, right? Yes. Observe this diagram once. It follows master slave architecture, but it doesn't follow client server architecture, right? Single master, multiple slave architecture. Hadoop follows single master, multiple slaves. It follows single master and multiple slaves architecture. Right. Slave 1, slave 2, and slave 3. Slave 1, slave 2, and slave 3. This is master node. These are slave nodes. Slave nodes within the bracket, I'm saying data nodes, right? This is master node. Within this master node, we see like name node. So slave nodes by the name data nodes means in Hadoop, data stored within the slaves, data processed by the slaves. So in Hadoop, data is stored in the form of files f1.txt. Assume the size is 2 TB, 2 TB file. Your system 1 TB, 1 TB, and 1 TB, right? Yes, 1 TB. This 2 TB cannot fit into any of these slaves, right? So it will be divided into smaller chunks we call them as blocks. Divided into smaller chunks, call them as blocks. So each one stored across the slaves. Each one stored across the slaves. Okay, data is divided into smaller plots. That is divided. Think that 10 lakh records in this, 10 lakh in this, 10 lakh in this, right? So executing this 10 lakh records like T1 task, this 10 lakhs records like T2, and this 10 lakh like T3. Who should execute this T1 task? Slave 1. T2 task by slave 2. T3 by slave 3. Means data, two advantages we can see here, right? The huge data set divided into smaller plots and distributed across multiple slaves of multiple slave machines, right? Yes. Data set divided into smaller parts distributed across multiple slaves of multiple slave machines and are processed parallelly, right? So parallel processing, very high speed you can see, and distributed storage you can see right here. So now based on this, right, who is going to assign this task to the slaves? Master. And to which slaves? The load balancing, who is going to take care? Master. Load balance means each slaves need to be equally given the task, equally should be given the tasks. And if any slave goes down, suddenly the task of that slave need to be assigned to any of the other slave that are also taken by the master, that we call it as fault tolerance mechanism. When three tasks are executed by the three slaves parallelly, suddenly if any slave goes down, then the task of that slave need to be given to any of the other slaves taken care by this master node. And health monitoring, right? So what are that responsibilities, right? What are the responsibilities? Master node responsibilities like that. Task assignment, load balancing, fault tolerance, task assignment, load balancing, fault tolerance, health monitoring, right? HE. Task assignment, load balancing, fault tolerance, health monitoring. Okay, fault tolerance means if multiple tasks are executed by multiple slaves, if any one slave goes down, the task of that slave need to be assigned to the other slaves. So we'll discuss all this in brief, right, in architectural part, like storage architecture and processing architecture, that is Hadoop architecture, right? And slave node responsibility, right? Two responsibilities, slave node responsibilities, right? Yes. Okay, storing data and processing data, two responsibilities, right? Storing the data and processing the data. Yeah. Now just checking this, right? Hadoop advantages, right? Unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage because of a feature, right? Horizontally unlimited scalability. Horizontally unlimited scalability. Horizontally unlimited scalability. What do you mean by horizontally unlimited scalability means? So horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. Means, for example, this is master, these are slaves, slave, right? Yes. For example, if you're running a business with less number of slaves, tomorrow your business has increased. Your branches has increased, your customers have increased, data has increased, right? Your slaves also need to be increased horizontally, right? Horizontally, unlimited number of slaves can be added. Means if your custom, if your customers increased by 100 times, data increased by 1,000 times, you cannot go with the same number of slaves, right? You need to increase the slaves. Horizontally, unlimited number of slaves to be added. So, and very high speed processing because of parallel processing, right? I'll just give a labor example. Parallel processing. For example, parallel because very high speed processing because of parallel processing. For example, a labor example, non-parallel and parallel. Non-parallel, one person preparing one item, taking 1 minute. 1 minute, right? Yes. One person preparing 10 items, taking 10 minutes, right? One person preparing 100 items, taking 100 minutes. One person, one item, 1 minute, 10 items, 10 minutes, 100 minutes, right? Yes. Okay. But in the case of parallel processing, one item, 1 minute, 10 items also 1 minute, 100 items also 1 minute. Ten items also 10 minutes. So here in the case of parallel, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, right? Yes. All it takes it's 1 minute, right? Fine. Okay, very high speed processing because of parallel processing can handle all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Open source, no licensing required, right? Yes. So yesterday I was discussing, right? Yahoo has conducted a test by taking a table of 100 TB consisting of 1024 columns. Task sorting based on 16 columns. Oracle has taken 3.5 days to process. MySQL has taken 6 days. Teradata has taken 4.5 hours, right? And Netija has just taken 3 hours. But Hadoop has taken 3.4 minutes. The latest version has taken just 1.2 minutes, right? That is what the speed of Hadoop as compared with other things, right? Yes. So that's why Hadoop is proven in the market, processing point of view, not only processing point of view, storage point of view also it has proven in the market. For example, I got some query, right? Why databases like Oracle? Why databases like Oracle?
Sir, is a question is why databases like Oracle?
Why databases like Oracle cannot support unlimited storage? Unlimited storage. Yes.
Maybe the disk disk storage is very expensive.
So my database like Oracle cannot support unlimited storage because we talk about in real time, like databases, if I take, there is a limit, max limit on the number of slaves. Max limit on number of slaves. Databases and max limit on number of slaves. Why databases like Oracle cannot support unlimited storage? Databases and max limit on number of slaves, right? Yes. Okay. In real time, there is a, even for the Oracle also we can go with multiple slaves, but there's a limitation, right? If I talk about Oracle, it can go up to maximum 256 nodes. Beyond that, it cannot support, right? And even like MySQL, right? MySQL can support maximum of 54 nodes. But MySQL Express can support 256 nodes. SQL Server, right? SQL Server also can go with maximum of 256 nodes. There is a limit for them, right? 256 nodes. And DB2 also, DB2 also can go with maximum of 256 nodes. Beyond that, it cannot support. Means even if you talk about Oracle 256 nodes, right? If all the 256 nodes gets filled, right? Even just like your mobile phone, if 64 GB internal is given, if you are filling all the 64 GB internal, the performance of your phone degrades, right? It works very slowly. Sometimes it won't even start. So in the same way, here also for Oracle, if you are filling all the 256 nodes, it cannot support data further. Sometimes it won't even start. The performance also will be degrading, right? Fine. If you talk about these databases, they are not supporting unlimited storage. Once that the nodes gets filled, it cannot support data further. But you have got some specialized databases like Teradata, used for data warehouse purposes. It can support like 512 nodes, right? Support 512 nodes. Netija, it can also support like 512 nodes. Five 12 nodes, right? It also supports like 512 nodes. Teradata and Netija. Teradata supporting, right, nearly 1024 nodes, right? Netija also like 1024 nodes. As of now, Teradata and Netija supporting 1024 nodes, right? Yes. Vatica going with 512, right? Yes. So none of these databases are supporting unlimited storage, right? None of these are supporting unlimited storage. None of these databases are supporting unlimited storage. None of these are supporting unlimited storage. But Hadoop, but there is no limit. There is no limit. on the number of slaves. But there is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have, right? Okay, fine. Yahoo when first time implemented Hadoop, right? Yahoo when first time implemented Hadoop, right? It went with 4,000 slaves for storing its data. 4,000 slaves, 4,000 nodes, right? For storing its data. Currently, it is going with 12,000 slaves, right? 12,000 slaves. Facebook when first time implemented Hadoop. Facebook when first time implemented Hadoop, right? It went with 8,000 nodes, right? It went with 8,000 nodes for storing its data. Currently, it is going with 42,000 nodes, right? When first time implemented, it went with 8,000 nodes for storing its data. Currently, it is going with 42,000 nodes for storing its data. Okay, fine. This is what that Hadoop can, there is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. Unlimited number of slaves, right? Horizontally unlimited scalability. Horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. There is no limit on the number. So Hadoop is proven in the market. Storage point of view and processing point of view. If we speak about Spark, right? Spark is a very high speed processing in memory computation, right? As compared with other technologies, right? It's storage happening within this memory and processing happening within the memory. So we call it as in-memory computation, both storage and processing within the RAM level, memory level, right? Yes. Okay. So in brief, we will be discussing about this, right? My total focus will be on Spark. So it's SCALA implementation and some important components of Hadoop, right? Like Hadoop, HDFS, Hive is mostly important component, Scoop for import export operations, NoSQL database like HBase, and some other things also I'll be giving knowledge on this map reduce execution model. Yes. And Spark in brief. Only for Spark, I'll be spending nearly 40 to 45 to 50 hours on Spark with SCALA, right? And nearly 30 hours on Hadoop, Big Data, Hadoop, and Spark. Totally 2.5 months. So every session is a video recorded. You will be getting the recorded videos, and notes will be, you will be getting the notes. Right? Any queries from your side? Anyone? You can attend the session tomorrow also to see more on this, right? So tomorrow I'll be just discussing, I'll be entering into that, right? How exactly the data storage and data processing is going to happen, right? So how your data, how data processing and how data storage happens within the Hadoop, right? Fine. Any queries, anyone? For those who wants to attend PySpark, right? Separate batch like day after tomorrow on Saturday at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Special class?
3 p.m. in the afternoon, a batch, right? A batch is going to start on PySpark, Spark with Python implementation. This Spark with SCALA implementation. One second, one second. Whenever you say DurgaSoft, okay, this, okay, one second, you want the link. Durga Software Solutions, you can just check in the Google, right? In the website, you can see the link, the poster, everything about that PySpark. About this payment details and the procedure for this Hadoop, Big Data, Hadoop and Spark, right? So everything provided in the chart panel, right? So the contact details, you can take this contact details, right? Contact details, right?
The class timings are
For which one?
for this course?
For this course, current
Big data.
Big Data, Hadoop and Spark. Now, now we'll be running here, right? But the actual timing for this batch is at 7 p.m. right? We'll be taking demos here like at 5 p.m. It goes for 1 week. 1 week the classes will be at 5 p.m. but later it will be at 7 p.m. right? Yes.
Any other class timings are?
7 p.m. right? 7
And
to evening.
any okay. So you only run one batch or you run two batches?
No, as of now, that's the timing, right? Later cannot say, but as of now, so for 1 week or 10 days, it will be here, but later it will be shifted to like 7 p.m. right? Why? Because most of the students they are asking at 7 p.m. right?
Yeah, but sometimes I'm asking if you take some other batch, this is the only batch you will have because 7 p.m. is here, 11 p.m.
7 p.m. is 11 p.m. Okay, you're from okay,
from out of India.
it's 11. Okay, okay, fine, fine. In the coming days, okay, it might be at 5 or 6, right?
Your 5, 6 is fine. 6 is maximum.
Okay. Fine. Okay. There are many students, right? They'll be attending okay, from okay. Like some of them, they are following videos, right? They ask
Okay.
any queries any day. They'll be attending and they'll be asking. If you're unable to attend, I'm asking. Say, like following the videos, daily videos. If you've got queries any day, you can attend and you can just clarify your doubts.
Okay.
If you are unable to attend.
Okay.
Kindly share
One,
the PySpark registration link.
PySpark registration link. 1 second.
Unable to find in the website, official website of Durga.
Okay, 1 second.
will you teach us the practical, sir, as well? Wow.
I think you don't know about Durga. It is only practical only. There is a less theory and use amount of practice. They will give the assignment every day.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it? Koteshwar Rao.
So PySpark will separate course and it is for the 10 weeks.
Yeah, separate. It's a separate course. It's for 10 weekend batch. Weekend batch.
And what are the requirements for this course?
Requirements means like
Some additional, some prerequisites.
some basic knowledge of this, basic knowledge of Hadoop, right? Like HDFS, Scoop, some basic knowledge and basic Linux knowledge, basic SQL, right? Required.
Okay.
Sir, we need the fundamentals of Python also, right? Hello, Vijay sir.
Yeah, basics of Python required, right? Basics of Python, basics of Linux, basics of SQL, and basics of Hadoop, right? Basics. So it's 17th and 18th at 3 p.m. You can see
The
that.
10 weekend means every week we have only 2 classes, right?
So like 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday, 4 hours.
Oh,
So 10 weekends, 10 weeks into 4 hours, 40 to 45 hours. It will be.
is there any pre-recording videos also available for after this course? Sir?
Yeah, recording videos, everything, every session
Sir,
is recorded, right?
I have one doubt on the recordings will be lifetime access or only some duration of the time only.
6 months.
After that it will be expired, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, fine, right? So you can see that link and that you can attend the session, right? So it will be on Saturday, 3 p.m. day after tomorrow. So, okay, fine. I'm stopping here. You can continue. We'll continue the session tomorrow, same time, same link to see more on this, right? Yes.
So one thing more is this is the class on PySpark has different fee structure.
Yeah, this is for Spark and Scala, what you are paying, right? That is for Spark with Python implementation.
So the PySpark we have to pay separately.
Yeah, PySpark you need to pay separately.
What is the fee, sir?
So for PySpark it is 8. For this it is 10. Here you will be learning
Okay.
both Hadoop and Spark with Scala. So if you take combo, they can give for 15.
Sir,
Okay.
if you take the combo only 15K only, sir.
Yes.
Is there any other discount, sir? Since we are adjusting Durga sir student.
That's what, right? A combo. If you're already, if you're a student of already, if you are paid for Hadoop and Spark, if you go for PySpark, you will already a member of the Durga, right? DURGASOFT. That's what it said.
Okay, sir.
So that's what. So, okay, fine. Okay, I'm stopping here. We'll continue
Sir,
to.
is there any EMI facility for these two programs?
You can just talk to this online team, right? They already provided the contact details up in the short panel.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.